You ever wonder why people are the way that they are? You ever wonder why people think the way that they think? Well, here's the answer to your questions. This is The Sit Down.
How you doing, everyone? Welcome to another episode of The Sit Down. Today we have
Hugo V, lifeiswonderful.love.
Nice. So Hugo, tell me a little bit about yourself and what are you into and what is your business about?
Okay, lifeiswonderful.love is about helping people really understand themselves better, empowering people through self-awareness. You know, we all hear the words mental health, emotional intelligence, but the question is how do you get a better understanding of those concepts? And that's what I do. You know, I was an addict, compulsive gambler, alcoholic for over 20 years, been in recovery over 20 years, haven't had a drink in 25, haven't placed a bet in 22. Was in therapy. So then I just wanted to start to combine a couple of God-given talents, which was public speaking and recovery. And then with COVID, you know, treatment centers, schools weren't open, so I decided, okay, as that starts to open up, come up with an online course, write a book. And so now here in the month of June, coming out with an online course, the 12 Steps Explained, just so people can really get more excited, more enthusiastic about recovery, about dealing with their emotional issues.
Okay. So, Hugo, let me ask you, I know you touched on a little bit of your personal experiences and the struggle that you had, but, you know, like you said, a lot of people, you know, don't really understand what the word mental health means. They know how to say it, and they hear it all the time. But what was your first eye-opening moment for you that mental health was real?
Well, look, I grew up in a family that never talked about feelings. You know, we were always pushed academically, athletically. We'd go to the church every week, but we never talked about feelings. So I really didn't understand feelings till the first day I walked into therapy when I was 32. And he showed me a feelings chart and he goes, "How do you feel?" And I thought it was a trick question. I knew I was always angry. I knew anxiety. But going back to your question, it was, I think, you know, I was always struggling. I was always confused. Like even my therapist asked me growing up, did you feel loved? I said yes and no. I saw a lot of examples of love. My dad went to work. We went on vacation. We always had food. My mother was cleaning our clothes, but we never talked about it. So that was kind of confusion. Later on, when I'm an adult in my 20s, certain things would happen, and it felt like, okay, there was a good side and a bad side. So I didn't really understand mental health, but I did understand how life didn't make complete sense. And so going back to that, we'll finish off with the therapist. So he asked me, and then I said, well, I feel anxious, because that was always my go-to. You know, I had moments of excitement and happiness. And then he comes up with, what else do you feel? And the first thought was like, WTF? Hey, I just came up with one. Now you want a second feeling? And then he tells me a 5, 7, 8-year-old has one feeling at a time. Adult has multiple feelings all the time. And that's when I realized I need help.
Right. I mean, that's good, though, because, you know, there's a lot of people still struggling and not knowing that it is a struggle, or thinking that, you know, like you said, you grew up, you felt it was normal, right? Like, oh, I'm angry all the time, I'm this all the time. So that's just how life is, right? You know, understand that there's actually a cure or a solution to a lot of it. Well, I definitely want to thank you for sharing your story, and I want you to take the time to let everyone know where can they find you, where can they reach, and how can they benefit from your organization?
Okay, you just go to the website, lifeiswonderful.love, L-O-V-E. That hosts everything, all my social media, and you can look and go straight into YouTube. I got over 45 videos free, bunch of free videos, so you can try to see if I have the knowledge, if I have experience, and if I'm entertaining. And then from there, you can go in and say, okay, well, maybe I want to buy a course. I'm going to wait for this book, and I'll come up with other products that you can purchase. But I always say, first evaluate me. Go to my podcast. See if I know what I'm talking about. You know, you don't want to buy something if you don't want to test drive it. That's what I said.
Right.
Test drive a vehicle. Have a sample at Whole Foods before you spend $7 on some crackers. That's the whole thing with me. Watch my videos, listen to my podcast, and if it makes sense, I also do recovery coaching. So if you are in recovery and you need help, I'm just like a life coach, but mainly I do life coaching, but it's also more kind of like how do the steps work? But the same thing with the course. The course is how to deal with anxiety, how to deal with those feelings. Because it's partly it's about recovery, but partly it's about psychological questions that you get in therapy. And instead of spending so much money in therapy or so much time in 12-step means, just buy a course. It's only $555. It's kind of not too much, not too little, because we know there's something that you spend a little bit of money on, you value more, and you're going to do the course. You know, it's almost like 30% of people that buy courses never even open the book. So I want you to get better. So that's why I want you to finish the course.
That's what's up, man. Well, thank you. Thank you for taking the time to speak with us. And, again, thank you for helping us bring more people aware to the mental health awareness. And actually, like you said, which was very important, what it actually means. You know, don't get too caught up in the trending phrases that it comes about and get caught up in the internet trends and things like that. And really do the work to explore your own mental health and see where you have a problem with it and see where you can find your solutions to.
Yeah.
Thank you, and please keep in touch because.